Oh, look at you. Oh, let me go grab my microphone. Sorry, I forgot.
Way to go, Pam. How are you, Pam?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. I'm laughing a little bit at myself on number one, how late we're recording this podcast. The fact that I came up with the idea last night after working out. So we're recording this podcast within a 24-hour time period.
But tell me, why did you come up with this idea after you were done working out?
Nice intro, Pam.
Thanks.
Yesterday was day 116 of the 29029 training plan. And it called for an easy workout, not a big deal. Strength program. And what was it? Just 1 hour? Yeah, in an hour hike or jog. Well, I didn't plan properly. So I had dinner in the oven. And I'm from the old school where you don't leave the house when you have something in the oven or you have something in your dryer. So anything that I would say that takes that much electricity, I don't ever leave the house. Well, considering that the dinner was going to take 3 hours in the oven, I knew I couldn't leave to do a hike or a walk. So I did everything in my power to get out of even doing the workout yesterday. I didn't feel like it. I was tired. I am tired. I'm still tired. I know we only have 3 more weeks until the event, but a part of me just coming up with excuses for not wanting to do it. Well, I ended up reaching out to Jen and Lisa, who are both participants with me in the event in 3 weeks. And of course, both of them said, "Oh, I've got a migraine, but I'm still going to get it done later tonight." And then the other one was like, "Oh yeah, I had to break it up today, but getting it done." So a part of me felt like, great, now I just had peer pressure. If these ladies are getting it done, I need to just suck it up, figure out how to do it and get it done. So instead of going out for a walk or a hike, I did end up going on my indoor bike, getting an hour in, a little over an hour, but I still got it done. So after the workout, well, let me back up just a little bit. Pam and I had a conversation yesterday, a couple of times, I think. And I kept saying to her, I don't want to do this workout. And it was about 15-20 minutes before the workout. And I kept saying, I don't want to do the workout. I don't want to do the workout. I don't want to do the workout. And Pam said, I don't want to do this. And I don't want to do this. And I don't want to do this. After reaching out to Jen and Lisa and then feeling peer pressured and guilted into it, I just went and got it done. So after the workout, I said to Pam, why do we do this? And Pam and I do struggle with this at times. There's something to do. It's not that difficult. It's going to be putsy and it's going to take time, but it's not difficult. And we do everything in our power not to do it. But I did it. And you did what you needed to do too yesterday.
Yes. And how did you feel when it was done?
I didn't even, honestly, I would love to tell all of our listeners that I felt fantastic and great and accomplished. I still felt exhausted. I mean, I did feel good that I got it done. But I thought to myself, you got that done because you were basically peer pressured and guilted into it. And that really isn't the reason why I should be doing it. But I will have to say, I have been incredibly consistent in my workouts and with the training schedule. I believe I've only missed 3 or 4 workouts in, what are we on now? An 18-week program. I don't think that's too bad.
And I'm just going to say that maybe 1 or 2 of those was because we spent the weekend together, Memorial or Labor Day.
Oh, that is, yes. One of those days did not get done. Yeah.
Yes.
So
I'm happy for your sacrifice. Thank you. But it's crazy. Okay. So you just mentioned peer pressure and guilted. It's almost that little push that you need. It's the thinking, it's the what if. We've talked about that before too. What if I just get on the bike and do it? I watch a show and it's done and over with before I even realize that's what I'm doing.
And that's what I did. I had on Netflix, I had on a show that you and I have talked about, and I started to do it. I was so tired, Pam, that I could barely make the 30 minutes with that show. So I thought, okay, I have to find a show that is honestly going to capture my attention for another 30, 35 minutes. And I found it, and I did it. And ironically, it ended just in the 35 minutes that I was done. But I was really that tired, which then begs the question, should I really have done the workout if I was really that exhausted?
Right.
And I would still counter yes, because I'm going to be exhausted on the mountain. So that getting that done, getting out of my comfort zone, that was good. But I don't know that I felt any better after doing it because I was so exhausted. Still am today.
Yeah.
I probably will not get my full workout in at all today. I'm truly that tired. And that was the other thing I wanted to bring up is, when do you get so tired that it's counterproductive to do the thing that you're supposed to do because your battery is so drained as it is? What is the return on investment for any task when you're that exhausted and just really can't get it together?
Well, are you doing more harm than good? Are you going to set yourself back 4 days, or you know what I mean? Like 5 days or a week of training just because you felt that you, well, guilted and peer pressured into getting your hour in yesterday.
Yeah, it was an hour and a half by the time the strength class was done, but yes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So how did you get through yours, your piece that you didn't want to do?
So after I was done cleaning the bathroom, changing the sheets, vacuuming, dusting, and everything that I didn't need to do yesterday, I finally hunkered down and just said, I need to get it done. And it's one of those things, when I'm not comfortable with something, I put it off. Or if I dread it, I put it off. I can make you a charcuterie board or a martini and we're all in. But you get me going on paperwork and numbers and stuff, and I'm like squirrel. I cannot focus. I can't concentrate because it's not a strength of mine. So I just literally had to sit down, set my phone aside, and just get it done with a few breaks in between. And I'll tell you what, last night I tossed and turned because I was so close to being done. And this morning I'm like, sent everything I needed to off. And I'm like, whew, if somebody tells me I need to make plans for today, I'll probably tell them that, nope, I'm good. I'm doing what I want to do today.
So for you, was it a time crunch, a
Yes.
deadline?
Yeah, I do work better under pressure, which doesn't always work with things like your training program. You can't train the week before you're leaving and expect, so
Yeah.
I mean, essentially you're under a time crunch too. You've got this amount of time to do it, but I knew by noon today that I had to have this task complete. And, I submitted everything by 9:30 and I was very happy about that. So makes a world of difference.
When you commented on cleaning the bathrooms, changing the sheets, doing everything you didn't need to do, I knew that Ashley and I had talked about pieces of this. We had talked about in episode 7, 39, 40, and 41 are all episodes that we had pieces of this topic, but not the full topic. So episode 7 was excuses. Episode 39 was routines. Episode 40 is ambition. And episode 41 is follow through. So I feel as if this episode is the culmination of all of those things. And ironically, one of the things that I did talk about was when I knew I had to go to the gym to get a workout in, I did exactly what you did.
Mhm.
The house is really dirty and I should really scrub the floors. I really should get that load of laundry in. Oh yeah, now I need to fold the laundry and now I need to put it away. Now I need to vacuum. Now I need to. So it's everything but going to the gym.
Mhm.
Or when you have to get the cleaning done, then it's like, oh, I really need to get that workout in. So I'm going to go to the gym. or I need to do this paperwork, or I need to go through the mail because I haven't gone through the mail yet this week. It's always something else that we put in front of what we want to do or what we need to do,
Right.
even though we know we have to do it that day. It doesn't matter. I do the same thing for going to the grocery store sometimes. I know you do yours on Instacart, but if I need to go to the grocery store, could I do it right away in the morning? Yep. Could I do it on my lunch hour? Yep. Can I do it after the gym? Yep. So then sometimes, why do I wait until the very last minute to do something? Because it's easy. I know exactly what I need. I have my list. It's not difficult. I go to the grocery store probably every other day, every 3 days at least. So we're not in the grocery store is super close to my house.
Right.
So we're not talking about anything difficult. Why do we do that?
I don't know. It's hard and it's frustrating. My girlfriend Jill, when you and I and the ladies were working out in the mornings, she's like, "Oh, I admire your ambition and your motivation." I'm like, "Oh, no. There's grumbling at 6 o'clock when that alarm goes off." But at 7 o'clock when we're done, it's like, "Oh, hey, great. Thanks, ladies. See you later. See you tomorrow morning." We feel so good. Like, why can't we have that as a constant reminder? Why can't that be the treat, or why can't that be the push that we all need to do the thing that we need to do that we don't want to do? Does
And
that
I'll
make
go back.
sense?
Yeah, I'll go back to habits and consistency.
Yes. Yes.
I just dropped the Atomic Habits book club podcast that we did that dropped on, oh goodness, September 15th. So that's out there. And it's about the habits, but you have to think of that great feeling. So I feel good after I work out. Well, except for yesterday. Yeah. That is when I knew that I was really tired and something needed to change. Or cleaning the house. Do you really have to clean the house today? What's the excuse and what's the priority? So I find it very interesting.
We also, with the Atomic Habits podcast, we talked about stacking, like stacking. I told you, I confessed this morning that while I identify as organized, I have not been making my bed. I haven't made my bed for probably a week.
Okay,
And
so
I'm like,
why?
I don't know. I just was like, ugh, I don't feel like it. And it's like, it's stupid. Literally takes me 30 seconds. You put the pillows on, you fluff, straighten out the blankets, whatever. It's done. It's not like it's rocket science, because my gosh, it's not. And then, but this morning I got up, I'm like, I am making this dang bed, changed the sheets, made the bed, put the throw pillows on, got the laundry all put away. Then I went into the bathroom and I, picked up in there. It's like, those are stackable. And that's my impression of stackable habits, because you do this one thing and everything else falls into line. Yesterday, when I was working on our business paperwork, I got so much. I went through, I told you, I have a garbage bag full of old mail and junk that we don't need, that gets put in a pile, clutters up the desk. And it's like, nope. Now I need to order this, I need to order that, and get that done so that it's organized.
Do you think that we get bored with our habits?
Ooh, good question.
So I thought about that too. So I'm on day 116. Is this so routine that I'm bored now? And then I need to do something else? And I thought, no, I really truly am tired, but it does beg the question of making the bed. Were you so sick of the consistency and the boredom now of making the bed that you wanted something different?
That's a great thought. I have no idea, because that makes sense. Like, no big deal.
Because we get so used to doing our habits, our routine. Some of us do like change, and we want to do something different
Right.
than what we do every single day. I wondered about that this morning after you told me.
That's interesting. Maybe in the beginning it's so fulfilling. Like it's like, oh, this is exciting, fulfilling. It fills your cup a little bit. Like it makes you feel good. I like that. Is it boredom? And how do you spruce that up?
How do you get back to fulfillment?
right?
Yeah.
Because routine, I know at one point you and I had talked about routine and change and things like that. Like, I like my routine 90% of the time. I like having the same schedule every week. I like doing things on repeat because then I know, okay, I've got these things done. It's like people who make lists and cross stuff off. At the end of the day, you might not feel like you got anything accomplished. You look at your list, you're like, yes, I did. I got a lot done. So I don't know. I don't know. That's very interesting.
What would fulfill you again to get the bed made every morning? What's
I
one
think
thing different that you could do?
get a new comforter. I'm kidding.
Pam,
I know. I don't know. I don't.
do you miss the feeling of fulfillment? Have you missed the feeling of fulfillment for the past week?
Actually, I have. I feel like it's trickled over to other areas.
How
Like,
so?
well, I feel like, 2 nights ago I went to bed and there were, a sink full of dishes. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Just unload the dishwasher, get the dishes in there, just get it done. It's one simple task. But nope, I didn't make my bed, so I didn't come downstairs and finish that. It's like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's stackable. Yes. So
So
do we need a break? Should we be less harsh on ourselves? Should I not be so harsh on myself about, well, Robin, you didn't do day 116 very well. I wasn't perfect with day 116, but I got it done. Not great.
that's very interesting. Talking about the fulfillment because you did get it done. And then day 216, you'll probably give it 180% instead of 97%.
Well, then we go back to the batteries. I'm really tired. So do I rest on day 117 and day 118 and then hit it on day 119? Do I give it a couple of days for my batteries to come back up? Because again, you go back to the return on investment.
Mhm.
And am I going to just bury myself again if I head down to the gym and do another 2-3 hour workout tonight after work? And then I'm completely exhausted on Saturday.
Right.
So where's that balance with your body battery is relatively okay, decent enough, and you're still getting what you need out of the workout? Because let's be honest, when we take on any task, making the bed, you can do it halfway and just do it to get it done. But you're not getting the fulfillment of really getting the task done and doing it well. It again, not perfection, but doing a good enough job to make some progress.
Progress, not perfection. That
Progress, not perfection.
that is a phrase that I really like. There was another phrase I heard yesterday. I was like, oh, I got to remember to tell Robin. But of course, right now I can't remember what that was. And I will tell you when I remember. But
Yes.
but for me, I know when I walk out of my bedroom and I see that there's no laundry, sitting in a basket waiting to be put away, when the pillows are disheveled on the bed, but still up on the bed, and the comforter, the sheets are clean, the bed's made. When I back out of my bedroom and I look and I'm like, I love my bedroom. I love the color. I love the bed. I love my headboard. I love everything about it. And it just feels so refreshing. That is something else that I need to remember. It's refreshing. Like when I come downstairs and I got my Scentsy warmers going and it smells good and the windows are open and it's only 63 degrees in here. I know. I like that. Like I like this time of year when, everything is clean, not spotless, but clean. It's a good feeling.
So did you make your bed this morning?
I did. And I got
Yep.
all of my laundry put away. I even put away Danielle's laundry, which I don't normally do. And
Yeah, you did mention that already. See, that's how tired I am.
yeah.
I can't remember 30 minutes ago.
Well, so let me ask you this. Is it your body's physically tired? Is it you're mentally drained? Is it is your mind on overload? Because sometimes that drains our body battery. Sometimes that is exhausting in and of itself.
All of it.
Do you need to
It-
find some meditation? Maybe take a 1 minute, 30-minute or 30-second meditation?
Or a 30-minute nap, I'm
Nap?
not sure. Well, and it goes back to mindset.
Right.
So am I talking myself into being tired? I don't, maybe now I am, but not necessarily.
Okay.
So it's always a good check to say, where am I at? Why am I feeling like this? I will say that my training load has been high, and it should be, because we're coming up to the event and then we'll start to taper off in the next couple weeks. But it's that I have, all of our listeners know, I have a very active life outside of work. I have some things going on at work that are wildly exciting and wildly different, and I'm really enjoying that. But that does take a different turn and different mental ability and coordinating and doing all the things that I love to do. But it doesn't mean that it's not mentally challenging, or now I have to figure out a different way to do the work that I normally do in the same basically amount of time to get it all done. And then there's another project going on with the trading group that I'm very excited about with Sochi. And that is going on. Plus I have things going on the weekend and still trying to get training in. And so I do think that it's everything. It's just a very full, active time of the year.
Well, so I'm just gonna back up and say this training schedule that you're on now is probably, in my opinion, since we've reconnected in the past 8.5 years, is probably the most rigorous physical activity that you've ever endured, from what I understand.
Absolutely. 100%.
So you have that, and then you have your regular life. You know what I mean? Like, so you're adding this on top of that. That's adding a couple extra hours. Even if it's 4 days a week, it's still taking that extra time that maybe you would have taken to read a book. Maybe you would have put pellets in the pellet stove in July because it wasn't hot enough. But you would read in the solarium.
Yeah.
You would do all these other things, and now you're physically moving your body way more than you ever used to. I don't mean that in a bad way, but way more than you ever
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that takes a toll. And then you got some changes in work or at work projects, things like that. So
Yeah. And it's all good.
yeah.
Yeah. It's not even bad things.
Right.
So you have the good stress and you have the bad stress. And this is the good stress, which I believe is called eustress, from back in my undergrad psychology days.
Oh, here we go.
So yeah, it's really interesting. But getting back to, why aren't we doing what we need to do when we need to do it? Why do we put that mental barrier on? I don't know. It's interesting. I think there's so many variables and so many different reasons why we do what we do, because typically in the end, we end up doing it anyway.
Right. So it's funny. My husband likes it when, if I say I'm going to do this, just get it done right away. Not me. No, not Pammy style. No, I'm going to wait until like 8:55 right before bed, and then I'm going to get it done. But it's like, then how much frustration and chaos and stress do you add to your life? Because if you would have just done it right away, you wouldn't have had to think about it for the rest of the day.
And I find what's interesting is sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. Typically, my character, my personality is to just get it done right away. At least get it started, at least get a draft, at least get a template, at least put it on the calendar, at least start making baby step progress to start to get it done. So yesterday was just really out of character for me, completely out of character for me, but it happens.
Right. But if it wasn't out of character, you wouldn't recognize that.
No, we wouldn't be talking right now.
No. So I'm curious, how other people move past that. I don't want to do this right now. I'm doing 50 other different things, or like, how do other people, I read some, or maybe it was a reel or something that you had sent me about motivation. Oh, that person must be really motivated. Motivation isn't necessarily, it's driven. That was the word used in there, routine, ambitious, things like that. And it's like, how do you find that when when your mind is like a spiral graph, you're going 50 different directions and you don't know where to go?
Yeah, I did pull up some research last night after you and I had Marco Poloed back and forth. It's from medium.com, and I will put the website in the show notes when the podcast is posted.
Okay.
So one of them is to talk to a trusted friend. And that's exactly what I did. I talked to you, I talked to Jen, and I talked to Lisa. And while you're not doing the event, it doesn't mean that you can't familiarize yourself enough with my lifestyle and with what I do, and you're able to provide that support that's needed. Jen and Lisa, thanks a lot for the guilt trip, and
Keep
also,
up the good work.
yeah, keep up the good work and for the motivation. Another thing is separate your sense of self-worth from the situation. And I thought that didn't come into play yesterday. That wasn't it at all. Continue to notice and process through the emotions. And as much as we joke about the fact that I have very few emotions, I did. I thought, why am I acting like this? Why am I thinking like this? Why is my mindset not in the forward thinking, forward activity, forward process? Because that is where my mindset is the vast majority of the time. So I wondered, where is this coming from? Which is why I thought this would be a really good podcast to talk about, because you had the same thing yesterday. So ironically, we were both in the same mindset, which is typically not like either one of us.
No.
So I did think through the emotions on what it was, and then think about the situation or task practically in very precise, specific terms. So I thought, okay, could I do 4 15-minute sessions? Yep, I could break it down. Could I do my strength training in 2 or 3 different sessions? Yep, could have. Did I? No, I did just get it done. But the bike session, I did break up into 2 different sessions. So when I read this again, after I had done the activity, I thought, oh, I did break it down into specific terms. And thinking back on Atomic Habits, how do you make it positive and you want to do it? And for me, that was watching Netflix while I was on my bike. For you, I'm guessing it was to clean everything up, get it organized, because you identify as organized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that way you would get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple more, set a deadline, give yourself a deadline, which is exactly what you did this morning. I did not give myself a deadline last night just because I knew I was going to get it done, and it didn't matter what time I got it done. In general, it was just do it. Keep reminding yourself it's okay to have problems, make mistakes, and be imperfect. And I did do that yesterday. I did give myself some grace during the hour bike ride of, this isn't good. You're not hitting time goals. You're not cranking it out. You're not doing more than the workout. It's just the workout today.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with doing the workout, and you do not have to do anything extra. Just do it and get it done. And then let people help, which I absolutely did. You, Lisa, Jen. So that's exactly what I did. So those were some suggestions. Other suggestions that Ashley and I have talked about in the past would be, like you said, reading a book, going outside, walking around the block, doing a task that you normally don't do just to change it up a bit. So there are lots, and journaling. A lot of people journal. So there's lots of different things that we can do to get back on track.
So it's funny you talk about deadlines, just real quickly. So when I get up in the morning, typically, if it's not a day that I'm working, I get up, routinely make the bed, do that, come downstairs, and I'll make myself a cup of coffee. I look at the clock and it's like, if it's 7 o'clock, I usually give myself a good hour and a half to just sit here. I don't know. I mean, check Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever. Just give myself that time in the morning to wake up. I'm not a morning person. So that is a really big deal for me. If I wake up late and I have to be to work in less than an hour, then it's like I feel like my whole routine, like my mind doesn't get that time to wake up a little bit. But I always set a time, like yesterday, I was like, I'm going to start by 10 o'clock and I'm going to get this done and whatever. And I know I was Marco Poloing with you and Dan, and I'm like, yeah, I was kind of putzing around and being distracted, but I'm like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. I didn't start till 11, but still give yourself that time. And I was not frustrated with how much I got done yesterday. I think I kind of cleared yesterday and today. Nobody knew that I was off both days because I was like, you know what? That's when people are like, hey, let's go to lunch. No, I got to get this stuff done. Like, I need to focus. Squirrel. But
And you did.
yep. And it feels great. It feels so good. And hopefully that's a stackable habit where it's like, okay, I got this done. Now I can go on to this, or I could go on to that. And
Yeah.
So
Thinking back on it today, am I glad that I did the workout? I am glad that I did the workout, but I do know that I need to take a break. And you probably need to take a break from paperwork and numbers and just let your mind do something that it's more comfortable doing. Just as I will most likely do something that I'm more comfortable doing. But it does beg the fact of we got out of our comfort zones of doing something that we didn't want to do. It wasn't hard. It wasn't difficult. We weren't learning anything new. Neither one of us were learning anything new. It wasn't anything like that. Nobody was getting graded on it. There was no true, I guess I want to say financial, there was no skin in the game for what either one of us had to do yesterday. And then we still got it done. And today, do I feel good about it? Yes. How would I have felt had I not gotten it done? I would have done it today. So then there's that imperfection coming. You don't always have to do it on the day that it's done, unless there's a true deadline, which you had a true deadline. So that's
Right.
a little different.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost my train of thought there. Sorry.
Well, we've had a couple of hard days.
Yeah. But I just want to keep up on it. And I just want to keep up on it. And the other thing I want to do, and I want to go back to cleaning out our bags and our drawers and our closets and all of that stuff after things settle down a little bit. But
And our listeners do know that Pam and I had that challenge back in, was 2020? 2021. 2020. That was the year that I wanted to learn something. So Ashley came up to Wisconsin and I learned how to edit the podcast and get everything going there. And then Pam and I had the challenge of decluttering. So we thought, well, we can't possibly keep going on in 2020, being at home and not doing anything. So we challenged each other every week to clean out something. It didn't matter what it was, but to have a bag or a box ready to go for either truly tossing it out if it really wasn't worthy of donating, or donating something, a box of something to get rid of it. And that worked really well. And then, yep, there we go. We stopped.
yes. And like I said, like yesterday when I was going through all this paperwork and stuff, it's like, why do I keep this stuff? I mean, why? It's flyers and letters, like junk. I don't need it. Why does it sit in this pile over here?
Because we don't do it daily. Because yet again, it's another 15 minutes out of our day that we're not prioritizing, which then goes back to the prioritization.
It's this big circle of.
It is a big circle.
Yeah.
Anything to end today's session? Because it feels like a therapy session.
Yes. Most of our phone calls do seem like therapy sessions. There was something else I was gonna say. I don't know. And everybody has such a different opinion about it. What if there isn't a deadline? How do you stay motivated just to do daily tasks that maybe don't need to be done right away today? I don't know.
And I wonder, how does that fit with your, I guess I'm calling it mental health. I don't know that I am thinking it that strongly, but so I don't do the dishes for 3 days in a row, but then on the fourth day I do the dishes, and I'm thinking, why didn't I just get the dishes done on even the second day or the third day? Why am I waiting to get it done? Are you waiting for the right time?
That's another good question, because how heavily does that weigh on you as a person? Like, oh God, like I didn't get this done. Do you beat yourself up? Are you constantly thinking, I should have done it? I wish I would have. What if
Yeah.
only? When you're climbing up that mountain, are you going to be like, oh, I wish I would have worked out one more time? Might have made the difference.
Well, and I ask myself that. So I did ask myself that yesterday. And I thought, okay, if I don't get this hour bike ride in, even though it was supposed to be a walk or a hike, if I don't get this in and I am on ascent 15 or 16, am I going to think, wow, Robin, you didn't get that one workout in for an hour? And my thought was, no, I'm not going to think that, because one workout isn't going to make or break it.
Correct.
And our coaches do talk about that. And our coaches do talk about the real life situations. So for example, tomorrow is a really big day for me for training, but I'm not going to get it done because I'm going to be at a funeral up north. So the day is completely done. I mean, I guess I could get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get some of it done, but it's really an 8 hour, is it an 8 hour session? Yeah. The lowest tier is 8 hours. That's not going to happen. So can I flip out Saturday to Sunday? Nope, because Sunday is also, I think, a 4 hour session. So I'm going to miss that this afternoon. I have other things I have to get done. Am I going to miss out on today's session? Yes, probably. And I knew I was going to. I knew I was going to miss out on 2 sessions this week. Unfortunately, they're super strong, heavy training weeks, but life comes into it. So, and the coaches understand that. And I do think to myself, will I regret it when I'm standing on ascent 15 or ascent 16 and have one more ascent to do to get that red hat? I tell myself no, because this is real life.
Right.
And real life happens, and I'm making accommodations, and I'm doing the best that I can, truly making priorities to get the workouts done, which I feel up until today, day 117, I have truly done that, or tried to get the workouts in earlier in the week and then take your rest day on a day that you know you're not going to get it done. So you can swap out, but these weeks do not have rest days. So there's no resting going on, which is probably the other reason why I'm very tired.
Yes. And again, your schedule is packed very full. There's not a whole lot of, I want to say, mental or physical downtime.
No, there isn't these days.
And
maybe 30 minutes a day, truly 30 minutes a day.
And that's hard too, in and of itself. It's like, okay, I'm used to having time to sit and read a book for 30 minutes. You know, when you did 75 hard, you read twice a day. You know what I mean? Like that's the time you had or set aside or prioritized. But it's getting down to the wire. And it's fall, which is also a tough time of year for some people, mentally, physically. It gets dark sooner.
Yeah, no, that's not a issue for me. I love the fall.
I do too, but it gets dark so stinking early.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm good with it.
Me too. It makes my evenings a little bit less busy. But no, it's crazy. It's it's just crazy. But then you think, how much grace do you give yourself?
It definitely goes back to the grace. I will say that, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, there was an Instagram post from one of my friends that said, you only get out of something what you put into it. So I believe I sent that to you. I sent it to Leslie. And that too is another one like, okay, well, if I don't get this workout in,
Right.
and I can get it in and I have the time, that's on me. I can't get out what I'm not putting in.
Right.
That's another really good point of view.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I do miss our 6:15 workouts. I really do. I don't miss the 6:15 wake up. I miss our workouts in the morning because I feel like that really helped jumpstart my day. That was a commitment, whether I didn't make it I mean, some weeks we were like, meh, I don't feel like doing it today, or we got 3 days in instead of 4 or whatever, but I really miss that. I felt really good. And then, again, life happens, things happen, and it's like, okay, well, our priorities shift and change. I don't have the gumption in myself to get my butt up at 6:15 in the morning and work out. I have all the tools. I just don't have the partner in crime.
And do you always need the partner in crime?
Oftentimes I do.
Mhm.
I know that about.
I do too. It's easier to do it with somebody.
Mhm. Yep. Even the treadmill. So I feel like I need to get out there on the treadmill. If I work 3 days in 1 week, I'm not getting my steps in the other 4. I'm only getting my steps in those 3. And those 3 days aren't, the steps count, of course, because I'm physical, I'm busy or whatever, but it's, that I struggle. That's an internal struggle for me. So honestly, I'm hoping with having Kinsley in the morning before school and having to get up in the morning. I mean, I don't have to get up till 7:15, but I'm hoping that that gives me the motivation, ambition, the drive, the routine, whatever, to even get out on the treadmill, go for a walk.
Mhm. I do like that you have iFit.
Yes, I love
So
iFit.
it feels like you're walking with Tommy Rivs or John Peel or Ashley Paulson or whomever you follow, Casey
Yes.
Dilbert, any of them.
Yes, I
It
do
does
like
feel
that.
like you're walking. I feel like, maybe I don't mean to speak for you. I do feel like I'm walking with them. Now, obviously, I know they're on my screen and they're not there, but I do feel as if I'm not hanging out. That seems weird, but there's somebody else doing it with me, which
Right,
gives me
right.
comfort.
You're not alone. And
Mhm.
like on the treadmill, I don't know what it's like on the phone because I don't generally do the walking on the phone, but on the treadmill, there's a spot down the side that shows the other people that are doing the program at the same time that you are and how fast they are going and things like that. And that's a huge thing too. I'm going to go back to, you and I have talked before about running / jogging or doing a 5K or a 10K or, a half marathon or whatever. It's like, I love the idea of it, but what does it take for me to actually get my shoes on and do it?
That's a great question.
Do I need to pay, a bucket of money, a bucket load of money? I'm not saying that, but I mean, that's a huge motivation. Okay, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars and I'm going to have to do this, or I'm not going to get anything out of it.
Mhm.
That's what I think. I mean, I don't mean that to sound rude or,
No, I
okay.
get it.
So,
I
but
do
it's,
feel that look at the fitness industry in the billions
Mhm.
of dollars.
Mhm.
So you can't say that it's just you and you feel bad about it, because pretty much the vast majority of the rest of us are right there with you. We are paying to have somebody be there with us as we're walking, jogging, hiking. It doesn't matter what Iron Man, it doesn't matter what we're doing. We all are doing it, which then makes me think we really are, we really like to have people around us
Yeah.
at any given point.
Yeah. Did you see any of the Tommy Rivs Boston Marathon stuff?
No, not yet.
I got emotional. I don't expect you to, but I did.
No.
It was pretty cool. Well, this lady was running the Boston Marathon and she recognized him.
Mhm.
And she said, "Hey, aren't you that guy who had the lung cancer or whatever it was that he had?" And she's like, "I'm an oncology nurse and it just,
Yeah.
it's so touching."
Yeah. So we've talked about this. Pam cries. I
Mhm.
do not. I thought it was sweet and nice, but there was no emotional tearing going on.
Oh, I'm covered in goosebumps even just talking about it. Let's not be crazy here. This is like when we watch the movie and you're like, "So is this the part I'm supposed to be crying?" I'm like, "Yes."
Oh, so I'll tell our listeners this. I don't know if Ashley and I covered this or not, but I was up at Pam's, I think for your birthday in March. And Dan, Pam, and I decided just to watch a movie to stay inside for that night. And Dan and Pam were talking about which movie to watch. And they're like, "Oh, this is a real tearjerker." And I was like, "Well, I don't want to watch a movie that you guys have already watched." No, we really like it. It's a really good movie. I was like, "All right, I've never seen it before." What was it? Something about the Titans, the
Remember,
Spartans?
remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. And Pam said, "I just want to let you know there's a part in here where I'm going to cry." And then Dan gets emotional. And I'm like, "Okay." So we're watching this movie. We get like very close to the end. I look over, Dan he looks like he's moved by the movie. Pam has basically tears coming down. And I look at Pam and say, "Is this where I'm supposed to cry? Because I'm not feeling it." Like, I get it, but yeah.
And why is my popcorn sweet? Yes. So no, it was, remember that?
Yes, Pam gave me popcorn and it was sweet, and I don't eat sweet popcorn, so I was very offended.
And she didn't cry. So I was very offended.
Yeah, no. I guess ET when I was 12, I cried at that. I'm sure I cried at Bambi. I would seriously have to think about the last movie that I cried at.
I cry at every movie, I swear. I cry on the voice when the voice comes on. I'm like, "Oh my God, they are so amazing." I am gonna do some baking, which is my happy place, brings me fulfillment and happiness. And yeah, I'm gonna keep thinking about this because
Mhm.
it's, to some people, it's a no-brainer. To me, it's like, ooh. So
It's the consistency. I would love to know what our listeners do, what they think when they hit these rough patches of, "All right, I know I have to get this done by a certain date and time," and you're doing it at the last minute, or you're just so tired, you just feel like you can't get through. I would love to know what other people do.
I love that.
Yes, please get a hold of us on Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. So, all of our listeners, stay awesome and keep reaching for your anything.